Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Caesar Transformation Healing Center. Today is October 10th, and so we are in the 1010 portal time. And as always, each month on the double number days, I do these portal readings. This is an especially potent portal um, because it's also connected to the eclipse cycle. We will be having an eclipse in 4 days, and then 14 days after that, another eclipse. So we're in the midst of the twice a year eclipse season, and eclipses are always times of great evolutionary change. And we have been going through this not simply through the eclipses, but also through Pluto's square of the nodes of the moon, and forcing us to renegotiate our relationship to power. And so let us take a look at, we'll get started. I do have a little video presentation here that should help. Let me just do this. Okay, we're going to start here. Excellent. Usually I do this before I get on, but I didn't. So here we are. All right. Uh, um, Current slide. Here we go. Okay. This should kick in any minute. Yes, there we go. Okay. So we are looking at the 1010 portal. And so we're going to look at it from a number of perspectives. We're going to look at it numerologically. We're going to look at it on the tree of life. We're going to look at it astrologically. I'm also going to look at the chart of Israel and the attack on the 7th on Israel to see what kind of things we see in the chart for that. I think that is part of this time, an important time. Um, so we'll take a look at that, and then I'll also do a card reading. I'll timestamp this in case you just want to get to the card reading. But I think this information is pretty important. So we're looking here at the numbers associated with this portal. Of course, 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, and the tarot it's a change. Okay. There's a sense of the mighty will fall and the meek shall rise. And we kind of see that in the whole situation in Israel and in all over, actually all over the world, in Guatemala, and um, just any country where people want to have their voice heard and be counted and be seen and be recognized as divine beings, just like you are, and just like I am, right? Um, and so we have the double 10 here, and of course the Wheel of Fortune is the change, the energy of change, and so we have change plus 7, know thyself. 7, the Chariot. We've been in a 7 year for 10 months now, and it's about moving on your soul's path. And because we're in eclipse season, and because Pluto, the planet of the soul, is squaring the nodes, it actually has been for quite a while, um, we know that this all makes sense in its way. If we add these three vibrations together, we get a 27-9 vibration, which in the tarot is the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands, the root of fire. Wands are spirit. Wands are intuition. In the card, the hand of God hands us the wand of life. Fire is life. Okay? Fire is life. So we're being offered life. We're also being offered death. life and death, the Ace of Wands. Why is it life and death? Well, it's life because it's an ace and it's fire. And there's this transformational death and rebirth component because the vibration of this card is a 9, which is about endings and new beginnings. It's the end of a cycle and then the beginning of a new. And we're in the midst of the end of a stage, a age perhaps, with Pluto in the last degrees of Capricorn. Pluto is leaving Capricorn, revisiting next year, right around the election in the United States, but it is on its way out of Capricorn after being there since 2008. And Pluto transforms, Pluto changes, Pluto uh, burns away that which no longer serves, frees the soul in a way. It's a surrender of the ego. It's a surrender of the ego. And so the surrender of the ego when Pluto is in Capricorn is a surrender of control. Surrender of control. And in part, the control mechanisms and those who want to be in ultimate control of situations, it's like a stress test to that. Ultimately, we're moving into the age of Aquarius. Are we in it? Are we not? It almost doesn't matter. We're vibrating there. We've been probably vibrating there since we discovered Uranus in the 1700s, since the birth of America and France. Not the first democracy in history, of course. Democracy started in Greece. But that energy of the need to be, the need to exist, the right to life. And life is a precious gift, but it can't be forced upon people. It has to be, it's, well, I'm not going to go there, but let's take a look and see. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. This isn't supposed to be here. I mean, it is, but that's not. Did that? Okay. What happened here? Oh, I see what happened. Okay, I had it in the wrong spot. All right. So sorry about that. So this 27-9 vibration is located on the tree of life in Ketha. Ketha is the crown. It's associated with the planet Neptune. It's also associated with the planet Pluto. Its astrological connection or expression is the conjunction. And the conjunction is an aspect of power. It's a blending of two or more energies and creating this powerful energy. Now, the Ace of Wands, the 27-9, is the root of fire and is associated with Leo, and that's going to come in handy. Right now, I believe nothing is in Leo on the 1010 portal, but Venus had just moved out of Leo after 40 days retrograde. She had a retrograde cycle in Leo, and it's significant because Leo is prominent in the chart of Israel. It's also prominent in the chart of the United States, as the North Node of the United States is in Leo. So, but especially important in Israel. And so we are seeing this bursting of spiritual force. Fire is force. Kether is the whirlings. And so there is this expression, and we can look to Neptune in the chart to see what that expression looks like. Okay. We can look in the chart for conjunctions for this moment in time. But we'll take a look at the chart and we'll see. So let me just see if this is the, which one is this? This is, okay. So yeah, so this is the chart. This is the chart for the 1010 portal at 10:10 a.m. I wanted to actually do this video at 10:10 a.m., but uh, I lost a little sleep last night because I was listening to, I wanted to get more information on what happened in Israel. So because I had a feeling that this would come up with a 10:10 portal anyway, and then when I looked at the charts, I realized, yes, this is part of the story. So if we look at this chart, this is the chart of 10:10 this morning, actually. And it is for Washington, D.C. That's just because it's for America. It's the country I live in. And we could even look at this chart for Israel if I didn't set that up, but that could be a possibility as well. But we can see that we have a lot of energy in Libra and a lot of energy in Aries. And of course, the nodes are in Aries and Libra. And here's Pluto making a square to the nodes, continuing to make a square to the nodes. Here is Saturn. And Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. Now, for the United States, this could be a rethinking of something because it's in the third house. But just in general, more generally, I think Saturn in Pisces is a call to healing. It's a call to a spiritual mission. And Pisces is a mission of compassion. Now, if we look right across from this Pisces Saturn, we have Venus. Venus in Virgo. Now, remember, Venus just came out of her retrograde. And she went retrograde at 29 degrees of Leo back July, I think it was 21st or 22nd. And when she went retrograde, she'd just almost been out of Leo. So she was in Leo for quite a while, even before she went retrograde. So she spent an awful lot of time in Leo, which of course Venus doesn't mind Leo because Venus likes being the star, but the retrograde Leo really was a real having to go to the core and the heart of who you are. And so if you have Leo in your chart, if you have anything at that degree, that 29th degree is very, very potent because that's where the retrogression started, and that's where the shadow ended. So Venus was out of her shadow for a couple of hours. It wasn't that long. It was a degree, so maybe like a day. And she was finally out of the shadow of her retrograde, and then she moved into Virgo. And she moved into Virgo, and Venus in Virgo is a very different energy than Venus in Leo. Venus in Virgo is roll up your sleeves and get the work done. A love of service, a love of work, a love of fixing what is broken. And so the energy of Venus is like, all right, I'm ready to roll up my sleeves. And she comes face to face with Saturn in Pisces. Oppositions are always tension. There's always tension in oppositions. And in that opposition and in that tension is an awareness, is a view of the whole situation. And really this sort of, in this chart anyway, because of where it sits, it really brings to mind, right? This is in a way, the need for help. So many places need help, right? An awareness of the need for healing. Now, that's not the only opposition in this chart, because we also have the opposition, of course, for the nodes, which is going to be activated anyway, because this is where the eclipses are happening. And the eclipse on Friday is at 22 degrees of Libra. And so it's only 2 degrees exactly off the node. So this is a very powerful eclipse. And it does cross, the eclipse path does cross parts of South America, and then Central America, and then the United States. It sort of goes like this, up, right through, and all that area activated by this eclipse. But we also have oppositions here with, let's see, where is it? Eris is, well, Eris is conjunct the North Node. We have Chiron and the Sun in an opposition. The Sun brings illumination, Libra, of diplomacy, the need for diplomacy as we deal with the wounded masculine, the bully. This also deals, the Chiron in Aries is a wound around the right to exist. And we know that both the Israelis coming out of the Holocaust, right, of the right to be, and then also the Palestinians whose land it was before the Israelis, before we created the state of Israel. And so what's their right to be? So all of these themes come up with this chart. And then we have Pluto, which is squaring the nodes, Pluto in Capricorn, conjunct the United States Pluto, the resolution node being the South Node in Libra. And it's interesting because, just as an aside, if we take the whole Israeli Palestinian issue off the table and say I didn't know that happened, this opposition here with the South Node and the Sun and Pallas Athena, the goddess of social justice, Mercury, communication, all in the 11th house of the Congress. And the need for renegotiation, right? This is big because this is the United States Pluto. And this is, I guess, a recalib. This is a potent time of refocusing something. Well, what do we need to focus in this country, in the United States, right? What are the things we need to focus on? Individual rights, right? We have one side squawking about their right to say what they want to say, to be who they are, to not have to conform. And they're attacking people who are trying to be who they are and not conform. We're attacking ourselves. The United States, Chiron, is at 20 degrees of Aries. We're having a Chiron return. We're having a Pluto return. We're having a Chiron return. It's about power. It's about the right to be. It's about the whole idea of power over dynamics. And does that work? Can we war ourselves to peace? I know what I think about that, but it's kind of the issue at hand here. We have Vesta here in the 8th house in Cancer. This is on I think the United States Jupiter and Venus. Focus on Cancer, the woman, the children. the people who suffer the most in war zones, the women and the children. In Israel, they're attacking Gaza because they want to get the Hamas fighters, I guess. And they're telling the people, well, go get out of the way because we're going to bomb. But Gaza is a closed system. It's like there's no place to go. And these fighters, like most guerrilla warfare, I don't know if that's really what it's called, but they live among the people. We've been fighting these kind of wars for many years now. Vietnam was that kind of war, right? And you end up in an attempt to get the bad guys, you're bombing the population that doesn't have the ability to get out of the way. Is any form of attack and terror on innocents okay? No, it's not. And I think this chart pretty much brings that point. And so God is saying you have the choice between life and death. What are you going to pick? The Ace of Wands, it's the hand of God, that it's Kether, it's the root, it's the crown, it's divinity, it's our connection to source. We have to choose life. And in order to do that, we need to talk to each other and not just beat each other senseless and give ourselves more and more reasons to hate each other. This isn't helping anybody. It's not helping anybody in Israel. It's not helping anybody in America. It's not helping anybody in Ukraine. It's not helping anybody in what was that? Azerbaijan with the ethnic Armenians, a population that, I think they were considered the first genocide of the 19th century, right? The first genocide of the 19th century, or the 18th century, no, 20th century, 20th century, 20. I get that wrong, so I apologize for not knowing that. So the chart, and the other, Venus is conjunct the moon here. This is the feminine. This is the feminine. We have to stop killing our babies. We have to stop playing war games where the only people that get hurt really are the people we're trying to protect. Doesn't make any sense, guys. All right, let's continue. All right, so this is the chart of Israel, and the tree of life. And so what I've done is I've taken the chart and the planets, and I've put them in the separate that are associated with those planets. So here we have, oh, I didn't put the moon in. Oh dear. Okay, so where's the moon? The moon's in Leo, so this should be a Leo sign here. But we have the moon in Leo, the sun in Taurus, Mercury in Gemini, Venus in Cancer, Jupiter, Sag, Mars in Aries, Uranus, Gemini, Saturn, Leo, and Pluto in Leo, and then Neptune in Libra. And that's how this. Now remember, Kether, this portal, the message perhaps to a country like Israel, we would look at the Sephiroth of Neptune. Okay, and where's Neptune in the chart of Israel? Here it is. It's in the 12th house. In Libra. This is idealized relationships. When Neptune, like Neptune is a spiritualizing force, and whatever sign that Neptune is moving through, it expresses the spiritual energy of that sign. And of course, the ideal here would be peace, right? To live in peace. Now, let's just take a look at this chart. We have a Libra rising, right? The eclipse is right on the ascendant descendant line of Israel. Israel has a sun in Taurus and a north node in Taurus, south node in Scorpio, conjunct Chiron in Scorpio. This south node is in the first house. So in a way, Israel is born out of the Holocaust. This is the Holocaust, the worst of the worst of the worst, right? And they've come in this incarnation as a country to live, right? Taurus, to have a home, Taurus, for peace, Taurus, Venus ruled, Sun, North Node, Venus ruled, Neptune in Libra, Venus ruled. Where's Venus? Up here. Love of family, love of land, love of, we could call it the motherland in this case, right? But they don't live on this. Israel was not, it wasn't like it was a parcel of land that nobody lived on. The Palestinians lived there. And so the Palestinians were moved around, uprooted. And honestly, I'm not an expert on the history, so I don't want to say anything. I may not be completely accurate when it comes to the history. I don't have all the information. But I can tell you that with this eighth house full of Gemini, there's a certain amount of a willingness to transform with the eighth house there, because the eighth house is transformation. Now this makes, in a way, perfect sense, moving from death, in some cases the death camps, to life. But this life is a seventh house life, and so it requires compromise. There was somebody there already. It requires them to live in peace among their brothers and sisters. Okay, live in peace within the realm of the other. This was a very powerful time on the planet. A lot of very powerful people were born at this time. And a lot of those powerful people have this in their chart: Pluto, Saturn, and Mars. In fact, Hillary Clinton has this in her chart. This kind of energy doesn't make people feel comfortable. That's one of the reasons why I think Hillary makes people feel uncomfortable in general, is because this is such an intense energy. So we have Pluto in Leo, right? My way or the highway. All right. Conjunct Saturn. Saturn is the rules. Pluto is our desire nature. Pluto in Leo wants to be seen, heard, and loved, but it evolves through its polarity point. And so it has, in order to evolve, it needs to move in the direction of Aquarius, raising all boats, equality, equanimity. And one of the problems with this is it can't get there because it's squaring its own nodes. So the soul, in a way, is at cross purposes with the evolution. Now, this, I mean, people have this in their chart. I believe Hillary Clinton has this in her chart. This is a challenging aspect to have. And then we could add, and if you want to look at Pluto and Saturn, it's in a new phase conjunction. So it has an Aries energy. So Pluto and Saturn is, we just had a Pluto Saturn conjunction in 2020, and that sort of started the whole COVID. It was the year of COVID, right? It was usually we'll see some sort of um, what's the word I'm looking for? Epidemic with those conjunctions. Well, this went at the birth of Israel, this just had happened, and the conjunction was in Leo at that time. So this is a powerful time of beginnings, the beginnings of power, right? So this is imprinted in this chart. There's this need for control, this thirst for power with with Mars also being in Leo. Now, if we remember what I said about the degree that Venus went retrograde, was right on Israel's Mars, went all the way back to a 13. So it went from Mars to Pluto and then back. Now it's back over Mars. Now it's in Virgo. We'll see that in the chart. And this chart is a Venus rule chart with this energy of Kether, the 1010 portal, being Neptune and Pluto. So we're looking at the Neptune and the Pluto here, all right? Because we're looking at Kether up here, right? The 27-9. So we have Jupiter down here in Sag in the 3rd house, but it's retrograde. So as a country, they have to review what they believe. Anytime there's a retrograde, it's about rethinking things. So this is about rethinking maybe their sense of freedom, rethinking a philosophy of life. Okay. We have Eris at 7 degrees of Aries. This is actually trying the United States North Node. Now let's take a look at the attack, which did not happen on 10-10. It happened on 10-7. And we can see some stuff happening here. All right. So this center is Israel, and this is the attack from Hamas, which was on the 7th at about 6:30 in the morning. And I put Tel Aviv. I don't think it was exactly by Tel Aviv. It was actually by Gaza, I guess, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. Remember what I said about which were the important like parts of Israel's chart. Well, first of all, as far as these, we also have the moon in Leo, right? But as far as this is concerned, this is being activated by Jupiter. Jupiter is squaring Pluto and Saturn here. But Jupiter is also conjunct the North Node. Uranus is sitting on Israel's sun, shaking up their identity, illuminating them. Who are they? Who is Israel? What do they stand for? Why are they here? We have Pallas Athena, the goddess of social justice, sitting on Neptune in Libra. Okay. In Israel's so this is the goddess of social justice in the sign of justice on the Neptune, which is this energy of the 10-10 portal, right? the ideal, the uh, the ideal relationship, Libra. But if we come over here, Israel has their Pallas Athena, the goddess of social justice, in the sign of Aries. And what's in Aries right around that degree? Well, we have the North Node and we have Eris. Eris is the people, the oppressed, rising up, testing Israel's. If the Israelis have the right to be and defend themselves, then why don't the Palestinians? What, well, not, I mean, why do the Palestinians, why is their land being taken away? Why are these I forget what they call them. They're building, and the everybody's saying you can't build there, and nobody's doing anything about it, right? And so this is the and when there's been um, you know, groups of Palestinians getting together and throwing rocks and stuff, and then the Israelis shoot at them with live bullets, and people are injured. When the aid workers go in to help, they shoot the aid workers. This is this is Pluto Saturn wanting ultimate control. And it's the thing in the Israel chart that prevents in its way the evolution. So how do we resolve this? Well, let's go back to the Israel chart, because I want to show you that when you have planets square the nodes, there is a resolution. And the resolution node for Pluto square the nodes, Saturn square the nodes, even the moon square the nodes, is the North Node in Taurus. And so it's about moving into a future of peace. It's not about revenge, which is what this is. So if Israel wants to evolve as a country, and Israel represents us, by the way, Israel is representative of humanity. The word Israel comes from Isis Ra'el. Okay? Isis Ra'el. It's a powerful place. And it's always in my understanding of it, at least when the Hebrews came in. Now, again, this is just a very vague understanding, so don't come down on me for not knowing stuff, because I'm telling you I don't know stuff. But in the age of Aries, when you read the when you read the New Testament, the Old Testament, about the Hebrews and this and that and Malachi and this, and it's like all these wars. It's a very warlike energy that visited an area that was previously the golden calf, Taurus, right? Taurus, the mother, the matriarchy. It was matriarchal in that area. And then the Hebrews came in and it became patriarchal. And so Israel, on a certain level, symbolizes that as well. And the state of Israel, when it came in, has that energy of wanting to be in control. But it has to trust. And that's a really hard thing to do, because they were decimated through the genocide. And so it's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask of a people. Really, as always, the answer to it all is love. The answer to it all is love. All right. So that's what I see astrologically, numerologically. I wanted to look at this on this 1010 portal, which this is like a 1010 portal and in the news segment. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to call this, guys. All right, let me get out of here because I want to do the card reading, and I want to use, if I can find it, I want to use my Thoth deck. Hold on one second. I'm thinking I have it over here. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I found them. I keep them in my this, which has, that's the hand of Maitreya. He was it's a healing hand, the healing hand of Maitreya, Ascendant Master. So, and I'm using the Thoth deck. If there's ever a moment to use the Thoth deck, this is the moment. The vibration of the day is a 9. It's 27-9. 9 is about forgiveness. 9 is about letting go, understanding, unconditional love, humanitarianism. The 2 of the 27-9, 2 is about balance. It's about sensitivity. It's about being aware of the other. And the 7 is about knowing yourself. So it's 279. Relate, know thyself, forgive. All right. So message for the 1010 portal. Message for the 1010 portal. As I was looking for the deck and pulling it out of that song, Lahaim, Lahaim, to life, right? That's what came into my head. Is that from Fiddler on the Roof? I don't know. Sorry. Oh God, I can't remember the last time I was on Broadway. Okay. Message for 1010. The Ace of Discs. This is the potential for a new world. The potential for a new world is here. Let's see what challenges that. Choice. Hold on 1 second. I don't know what I just did over here. Oh, sorry. The choice. The challenge is the choice. It's also duality. Let's see what's underneath it. Happiness. This is the path of life vibration for Israel. Born 5/14/1948, which vibrates to a 41/5, which is this. Let's see the past. Money, wealth, resources. Let's see what's in the sky. The Queen of Cups, This is feminine energy. It's about being connected to your psychic or intuitive facility. It's associated on the tree of life with Bina, which is the divine feminine understanding. It's also the dark night of the soul. This is a Scorpio vibration. The Queen of Cups, 3811. It's a master number. When we have master numbers, we are required to really work from our highest selves, our highest vibrational self. More is expected. It's also a vibration of justice. And so justice must be seen. Both sides of the situations must be seen. And the suffering on both sides. We have the card of healing, the Temperance. This is a moment of choice between suffering or healing, life or death. This requires us not to get caught up in extremes. This isn't about taking sides, because the sides are just opposite sides of the same coin. Can't make this stuff up. How it's seen from outside, which I always say the aliens are watching. This is a new step, a leap of faith for humanity to go in a new direction. This is Uranus card. Uranus is the great awakener. Our domestic situation. Justice. There are 4 aces in the deck. So far, we've picked 3 of them, and it is a day of the Ace of Wands. So the domestic situation, the Ace of Swords, this speaks of balancing the scales. This speaks of justice and truth. But it's also a sword. The sword cuts both ways, right? It's also about a choice, right? What do you choose? This is the moment of choice for all of us. Do you choose love or do you choose fear? Do you choose life or do you choose death? Sorry, from the wrong end. Hopes and fears, the Princess of Cups. We're hoping for good news. We're hoping for tenderness and love and compassion and tea and empathy. We're hoping for healing. See the outcome. The scales will be balanced. This is a Libra card. The eclipse is in Libra. The scales will be balanced. In a way, what we're experiencing right now is a balancing of the scales that were out of balance, and we're starting at 0 point here. And so what are you going to choose? The healing is available to you. Let's see what's underneath. We have the 3 of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands, and the 9 of Swords. So This is about doing your work, your craft, the things that you love the most. This is about holding firm boundaries and standing your ground, standing up for what's right. And there is going to be a certain amount of cruelty um, that is going to be experienced. Um, those who don't want us to be at peace initiate things that make us feel that we need to fight against something. But war will never bring peace. And the war we see on the outside is simply an expression of the war that we have on the inside. And the more that we can love and be in love and spread love and hold the space for love for ourselves and for the planet, that love spreads. At the roots is the right to be loved. This is God, Goddess, all that is loves their creation. Pronouns are such a dicey thing. That's the message, guys. On a day of the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Wands, guys. It's a new beginning. It's a new beginning. Now, what are we going to do with it? All right. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe if you like the work that I do, if you find it helpful. Or mentally stimulating, or maybe it pisses you off. I don't know. It's not my intention. My intention is just to show you what I see and what that could possibly mean. But I'm not always right. But I do know in my heart of hearts that the only place you can really access love, it starts here. As a chiropractor, I was always taught above, down, inside out. And spirit comes down, in and out. And so you need to embody the life force and align with the life force. And then the life force comes out and you become the light. You become the conduit of the light, of lighting the way. And we're all lights on the path for each other. And the more connections we can make, we create a net of light. And that net of light is protective. And it feels really good. A number of years ago, I sat in actually the chair that I sit in this room sometimes when I do this, the pink one. And it was in my old apartment. And I just sat in that chair one day in a meditation. And I started going through this gratitude, this sense of gratitude, and thinking about all the people that I loved, and just going out from, like, the basic people, your mom, your dad, your grandmother, all the people. And I just kept going out and out and out. And all of a sudden, at some point, I hit, like, what is that called? Critical mass. And it was like this huge, like, light filled, like, connection with all that of on the planet. I don't know. It was like I felt like it was in the center of the web of light. And we're all in the center of our own web of light. And when we connect with other webs of light, we become the light. We have the new earth. We don't have to do it this way anymore, guys. We don't. It's a choice. It's a choice. Much love to you all. And namaste. Peace within, peace without. May those who are in harm's way be protected in the light of love, given what they need. And may the warriors put down their swords and beat them again into plowshares, because it is time to reconnect with life. Take care, everyone.